Hey everybody, welcome back to Entrepreneurial Edge, the channel where we explore the wild world of business. We're talking 15 things you probably didn't know about the company that put America on wheels. So buckle up, hit that like button and subscribe because this is going to be a fun ride.
You know folks, I love a classic car. And when you talk about classics, you gotta start with the Model T. My vision was to make cars affordable for everyone, not just the wealthy. Over 16.5 million of these bad boys were sold, making it the best-selling car until 1972. Can you believe that?
Now you might think of Ford as an American company, and you wouldn't be wrong, but they're huge all over the world. Take the Ford Fiesta for example. This little car became Europe's best-selling car in 2017. And down under in Australia? Well, the Ford Falcon rules the roost. Ford knows how to build cars for everyone, no matter where they're driving.
Now, before we had the Model T or the Fiesta, Ford had to start somewhere, right? And folks, that's where the Quadricycle comes in. Picture this. 1896, no paved roads, and I unveil my first creation. It had 4 bicycle wheels, a tiller instead of a steering wheel, and get this, no reverse gear. You wanted to go backward? You had to get out and push.
The assembly line faster than a speeding cow?
Here's a fun fact. Ford revolutionized car manufacturing with the assembly line, but did you know the inspiration came from a slaughterhouse?
I know it sounds crazy, right? But it was brilliant. By breaking down the process into smaller tasks, they got the production time down to just 90 minutes. That's what I call efficiency, folks.
The $11 million Ford worth more than gold. In 2018, a 1968 Ford GT40 sold for a whopping $11 million. That's right, $11 million for one car. And why so expensive? Well, this wasn't just any GT40, this was the car used in the Steve McQueen film Le Mans. The big loss. Even giants fall down sometimes. Even giants like Ford have their tough times. Back in 2008, the economy took a nosedive and gas prices went through the roof. People weren't buying big SUVs anymore and Ford, well, they took a hit. But here's the thing about Ford, they're fighters. They restructured, they innovated, and by 2009 they were back in the black, making a profit again. The Pinto scandal, a lesson learned the hard way. Now, not every story is a happy one. In the 1970s, Ford faced a major crisis with the Pinto. The fuel tank was prone to rupturing and rear-end collisions, and tragically, this led to hundreds of deaths and injuries. Ford knew about the issue but chose to settle lawsuits instead of recalling the cars. Big mistake. The scandal cost them millions in lawsuits, and more importantly, it tarnished their reputation. The sticker fix. Sometimes, a Band-Aid is enough. Here's a story about a close call. In the late 1970s, Ford found itself facing another potential recall, this time with its automatic transmissions. Instead of recalling millions of cars, they sent out millions of stickers. These stickers warned drivers about a problem with the transmission and instructed them to shift into neutral at a stop. Sometimes a little ingenuity can go a long way. A family affair, the Fords are still in charge. You know, in the world of big business, it's rare to see a company stay in the family for so long. But Ford, they're different. The Ford family still holds a controlling interest in the company with 40% voting power. That's right, over a century later, the company Henry Ford built is still run by his descendants. Raking it in, more money than you can imagine. We all know car companies make a lot of money, but Ford's numbers are staggering. In 2017 alone, they generated $156.7 billion in revenue. That's more than the GDP of many countries. Patent powerhouse. Ford's got brains and brawn. Ford isn't just about building cars, they're about innovating too. In 2016, they filed over 8,000 patent applications. That's more than 20 patents every single day. Riding the tech wave, Ford jumps into ride-sharing. Now, you might think of Ford as a traditional car company, but they're not afraid to embrace new technology. In 2016, they acquired Chariot, a ride-sharing startup, for a cool $65 million. They recognize that the way we get around is changing, and they want to be at the forefront of that change.
Let's talk about the F-Series, shall we? This truck is an American icon.
It's been the best-selling vehicle in the United States since 1981, and it's not hard to see why. The F-Series is so popular it generates more revenue than McDonald's or Nike. We're talking $41 billion a year. Now, Ford isn't just about cars, they've also played a significant role in shaping American society.
Back in 1914, Henry Ford did something radical. He more than doubled the wages of his workers to $5 a day. This revolutionary move didn't just improve the lives of his workers, it helped create the American middle class.
You know, safety is paramount these days, but back in the day, it wasn't always a top priority.
They were the first automaker to install rear seat belts back in 1956.
They also pioneered child safety locks, and they were the first to introduce V8 engines, which revolutionized engine performance and safety.
So the next time you buckle up, remember you've got Ford to thank for that.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on our Ford adventure. From the Model T to the F-Series, from ride-sharing to record-breaking patents, Ford has a long and fascinating history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Ford, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Entrepreneurial Edge for more fascinating stories from the world of business. Until next time, keep those engines revving.